Phantom sense in virtual reality is a strange phenomenon that few people get to experience. It's like a sixth sense that enables you to be fully immersed in VR. But what is phantom sense, you may be wondering? Well, imagine entering a virtual world and another player decides to punch your virtual avatar right in the face. To the normal person, the virtual hand will go right through your virtual face and the user will feel nothing. But to someone who has developed phantom sense, they will feel a weird sensation in the face. And some people may actually feel the sharp pain of getting punched in the face, even though they are just in virtual reality. Basically, phantom sense in VR is a phenomenon caused by immersion in the virtual environment, where a user's brain tricks them into feeling touch sensations on their virtual body in VR. Your brain thinks that your virtual body is your real one, so when you get touched in VR, you feel a sensation in real life. It can be a lot of fun when you are giving a friend a hug, but when you get stabbed in the body with a sword, it's a different story. Phantom sense sounds very strange, and some people may think it's completely fake upon hearing about it. I was skeptical myself. But after some extensive research, I found that phantom sense is actually a real thing that can happen to people, although it is a bit of a rare occurrence. The idea of phantom sense has been around for a while. It actually originated way before modern virtual reality was a thing. The first examples of phantom sense were seen in people that lost one or more of their limbs. A portion of these people can experience sensations or pain in their lost limb, even though it's not there. These sensations have been so strong that there has been instances of patients attempting to step out of bed with their phantom foot or grab a cup of tea with their phantom hand, hence the phantom sense. Researchers always thought that our conscious perception of where the touch occurred stems from a topographical map in the brain. Although, new studies show that this is more complicated than just that. The sensation of touch is still not fully understood. To this day, scientists have been puzzled on why these phantom sense phenomenons occur. We do know a bit about phantom touch in VR, from the different people that have experienced it to a scientific study done. Our touch sensation is much more than just being able to feel the things in the physical world. Once we can understand how this sensation works, maybe we will be able to find out more about the phantom sense. This could really be the key to a more immersive virtual experience in the future. A study was done in 2010 called The Phenomenology of Virtual Reality and Phantom Senses, which dove deeper to attempt to explain these virtual phantom senses. I don't want to delve too deeply into the study, but it concludes with an interesting statement. It has been demonstrated that phantom sensations share some features of artificially induced virtual realities. However, in contrast to artificially induced virtual realities, phantom sensations are linked to the strong feeling of their reality. Therefore, we have suggested characterizing the subjective experience of phantom sensations by superpresence, as opposed to the technologically induced virtual realities characterized by telepresence. The conclusion also includes how these phantom senses come from the brain itself, and how the applications for this idea could create amazing virtual experiences if understood and developed into a technology. These statements from the conclusion of the study are powerful. It means that phantom sense is a real thing, created by the brain, in which we should attempt to study further to know more about this phenomenon. Phantom sense in VR is mostly something that is acquired. Only a small percentage of people have phantom sense when they begin playing VR for the first time. It varies with everyone, but for the most part, it takes a long period of time to develop phantom sense. Many of the people that have it have countless hours in virtual reality games like VRChat, so their brains are used to being in a virtual environment. Since many of these users only use one or two online avatars, their brain slowly gets accustomed to the body of the avatar as well. With things like full body tracking, it makes the brain even more familiar with the avatar. And again, if the user spends much of their time in a game like VRChat, the subconscious will see the online avatar as another state of themselves, which helps to trigger the phantom sense. An interesting example of your brain getting tricked, much like phantom sense, is the rubber band experiment.
The rubber hand illusion consists in placing, let's say, one's left arm out of sight, out of vision, and placing in front of the eyes of the subject a hand in plastic, a rubber hand. And then the experimenter will stroke, let's say, the index finger of my left hand, and at the same time the left index finger of the rubber hand. And if he does this synchronously for a minute, up to 2 minutes, certain subjects, 2/3 of all subjects, will start experiencing this hand for some moments as if it were belonging to their body. So this is one way, and this is normally investigated by questionnaires. So the subject will be asked a certain number of questions to respond to. And then there's a second measure, which is, in my opinion, even more interesting, because if you then, after these 2 minutes of stroking, will close the eyes of the subject and ask them, well, now point to where your hand would really be, they do not point with eyes closed to the real arm, they will point towards the rubber arm.
I really felt that my hand was transposed and into that false hand that was presented in front of me.
The person in the rubber band experiment knows that the fake hand isn't their real hand, but their brain is being tricked into thinking that the fake hand is in fact their real hand. Now, you can help induce phantom sense if you have a friend with you, touching you the same way you are touched in the virtual world, tricking your brain. Although this isn't ideal. I believe that just like how the people are conditioned in the rubber band video, the same principle applies to the people in VR. But it just takes a longer time for them to get conditioned in VR. Along with this, just like the person in the rubber band video, the people that obtain phantom sense seem to go under some type of hypnosis. The more time that someone spends in VR, the easier it is for the brain to accept the virtual body as the real body. With the brain being tricked that the virtual body is the real body, it creates some type of link or connection with it, inducing sensory reactions when the virtual body is touched. Because I thought it would be interesting, I went on VR and I found some people that had phantom sense, and I interviewed them to see their take on things.
Yes, I do.
I do. I got it on my nose, around my face, torso, and on my arms. The only place I don't have it, though, is on my legs. Mostly because I'm sitting crisscross.
Yes, I have phantom sense in my face area, and my head, my arms, and my chest. Just all around here.
So I went to this very famous man. A lot of people don't know him, but a lot of people do at the same time. His name is Mr. Talented. He gave me my phantom touch everywhere. He is a VR hypnotist.
Okay, I've played VR a lot. And technically a lot of my friends will get up in your face and stuff, a lot of people will. And technically my body just acts like, hey, there's someone in your face, and I remember exactly when it evolved, and it was this one time my friend went to go hug me and I could feel it and it freaked me out so hard. I've just always had it though. And it affected my actual life too. One time I woke up and thought that my VR headset was still on me and I couldn't figure out what I was doing or anything. My hands, I couldn't close them in the game, or I couldn't do certain expressions for a while.
Just being in VR for a couple of months, it kind of gets to you. It kind of gets to you. You kind of get fully immersed, and you start to try to respawn yourself when you're in your driveway, and and then you just and then you start getting more and more immersed in the game, and falling asleep really helps.
Yeah, and then I developed some other sort of phantom effects, you know what I mean? The most famous is phantom touch, then you got phantom taste, you have phantom smell, and you got phantom pain.
Technically, if you were to put your hand, let's say on my arm, it gets all tingly there, and I can feel the presence of where it is and stuff, and it's kind of hard to explain. When you get goosebumps on your arm, it's kind of like that feeling, but exactly where the hand is, and it tickles.
It's like whenever it's whenever you're watching a movie and somebody gets hurt, you can kind of feel it, understand their pain. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
Immersion is key for something like phantom sense to occur. If you have full body tracking, the top of the line VR rig, a lot of time on your hands, and there's no outside noise to distract you, then you have a perfect recipe for inducing phantom sense. You never know, next time you go into VR, it's possible you could feel the touch of someone else. Most of the time, phantom sense comes randomly to a person, so be careful if you play copious amounts of VR. You never know if you'll finally feel that virtual sensation hit you in the face.
I want to be in the video.
What is it?
How about I just get like ridiculous? Oh.